Hi everybody, it's Rachel from Sage. How are you today? I hope you're well. As you can see, I've done the rest of my face makeup. Unusually, I've done it first, but I'm going to feature a new palette today. And this is a blend bunny palette in collaboration with Mei Pang called the Rotten palette. Now, the packaging did not appeal to me whatsoever. I am a bit of a germaphobe, but I got past that when I saw the color story featured on Instagram, and a number of content creators in the US also use this palette. So this is an all matte palette, which is really unusual for a color story like this. If you get an all matte palette, they're nearly always like a rainbow palette or a neon sort of leaning palette. This has pastels, it has grungy neutrals, it has some really useful elements like the matte black and the matte white in the opposite corners. And I am intrigued. I was so intrigued that I decided to purchase it. Now, Mei Pang is a content creator on Instagram and TikTok, I believe. I have seen some images of her work and their work, and it is amazing. Not that I'm comparing myself to her or them, but I want to have a go at this, and hopefully it'll turn out. I'm going to do one look on this eye and a different look on this eye, so it will look a bit weird at the end, but we can get the idea of how the mattes perform, if I like them or not, is there any issues that I can see, I can rectify, or maybe I can't. Let's dive in. Now, this palette is available in Australia from Glamraidern, which is a website I have featured many times on my channel as reliable. Blend Bunny stuff on their website, though, does sell out really fast, so I'll say that as a word of warning to you. If you are interested in buying anything there, make sure that you waitlist it or something like that if it's not available, and then they'll get back to you. Okay, I'm going to start with a shade called Asper, which is this neutralizing on me. It looks like a banana powder, to be honest. There is some kick up, letting you know, and I'm going to use that quite heavily on this eye to take out any discoloration, and sweeping it under the lower lash line as well. This is going to be a full matte look, which is not something I do that often. I will just sweep a bit of excess away. I really did load up the brush there. Now I'm going to go in with some warm tones to begin with. I'm going to use this one called Circular, right? Just with the same fluffy brush. This is my medium density BH brush, no longer available, RIP. And that's going to deepen up that yellow and turn it into a more mustard shade, which is what I want. Okay, so this is going to be more of a neutral look on this eye. The other look will be significantly brighter. I consider mustard a neutral shade because it is very flattering on many skin tones. Probably not an olive skin tone, but lots of others. Okay, so let's go in now with the shade called Fusarium, this one down here. It's like a terracotta mixed with an orange. I'm putting that into the crease. Now, have I used this palette already? Yes, I have. This is my 4th use of the palette. Have I used all the shades? Yes, I have. So this is me showing you some potential all matte looks with whatever matte colors you have. You do not have to buy a palette to dive into your stash. But obviously I love my makeup and I am intrigued by Blend Bunny as a brand. I have previously purchased the plastic palette, that pink palette, which I reviewed last year and I really liked it. Okay, so now I'm going to go into a combination of Veil, right, and the matte black. I'm just going to dip my brush into both, focusing more on the brown, and I'm going to tap into the outer V or outer third of the eye. So you can see that is deepening up. I'm really lightly brushing it under the lower lash line, and now I'm going to buff and blend. Black is a really useful matte color to have. You can use it as an eyeliner. You can turn it into a liquid eyeliner if you wish, with a bit of setting spray. But this is a quite pigmented palette, and a light hand is advised if you do not want too much color. Okay, I'm going back into Veil now to really focus on that outer edge to soften it. I turn my head a lot more now to do this, so that I'm not just getting one viewpoint on the application. That's looking better. Okay, so I want to just flick some of that away, don't I? I don't need all of that color down there. So we have so far a bit of a smoky eye. I'll get my concealer brush, sweep that up. Right, give it a bit more lift. And I'm going to go back into circular again, which is that mustard shade, to buff that edge, top edge, above my crease line. That looks nice. Okay, I want to lighten up the inner corner now. I'm going to put that brush down and I'm going to get a flat brush because I want this to be a really precise application. I'm going to go in with some white, and in this palette it's called Oxygen. Tapping off the brush a little bit. Let's see how much color payoff we can get from white. Right, it's pretty good, huh? But not too chalky. Now, I will say that the first few times I used this palette, I struggled. I admit that. I struggled to, first of all, find my way into the palette, the color story. So it is a little challenging, right? I mean, I am a trained makeup artist, but I don't do, you know, really bright, colorful looks that often on people. I do them on myself occasionally, but not so much recently. And have I ever just done a matte look when I've done an all colorful look, a really colorful look? No. So that's why I found the matte finish a little challenging, I think, because I was like, have I done enough? And then I'd do too much, you know? So those looks I did film and I didn't like them, so I ditched the footage. That's just how it is, folks. The white has neutralized that really well. I'm going to take a little bit more of Asper, that yellow, and have it meet the white. Oh, that's better. That's better. Now I've got sort of a cut crease moment happening, buff and blend. I also think that maybe I needed to dip into the palette a little bit to get the best out of the pigments and the colors. Pigments and colors, sorry, that's the same thing. To get the best thing out of the maximum impact out of the colors. So yeah, keep that in mind. You might need to use it a few times to make some dents in it. To add some interest to this look, I'm going to grab my 03 Refa brush, one of my favorite liner brushes, and I'm going to go into this beautiful orange called Spora. Yes. If you've been watching this channel for any time at all, you know how much I love orange. Pretty much orange anything. Now, I could have made my brush damp and made it into like a cake liner. And you can do detailed work, say with a really, really fine brush. If I ever do that, I usually use like those nail brushes. I didn't buy them for the nail, I bought them for the detail work. Right, that's nice, that's what I wanted to do there. Okay, I'm just going to put some mascara on this eye and then I'm going to start on the other eye. Okay, now I'm going to do a pink, purple, blue sort of look on the other eye. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to start with this very pale pink shade, which is called Agrimonium. Some kick up there as well. You can see though, it's got some colour payoff. It appears extremely pale in the pan, but at least on my eyelid, you can tell there's pale pink there, can't you? Right, so let's dot that on the inner corner and sweep that just there. And now we're going to start to build. I'm going to go in with a shade called Whisper, which is this lavender, cool tone lavender shade up here. Maybe mauve, would we call it mauve? We can call it mauve. I struggled with the word mauve just then, didn't I? You know why? Because I hear so many US-based content creators or Canadians or whatever saying mauve. And I had to stop and think about how we actually say mauve in Australia. We say mauve, yes. Samantha is undo. You'd like that joke. Okay. That's nice. That has really deepened up the crease just a little bit more. Now I'm going to go in with this shade here called Marrow, which is one of my favorite colors in the palette, I do have to admit. It's a burgundy. Now you'll notice I'm also using the same brush so far because I'm just building color here. This is just the foundational aspect of the eyeshadow. Pretty nice, huh? It's looking good, looking good. Now I'm going to go in with this bright pink called Stain. And I'm going to focus that color on the outer third to the middle. Cute. They do pinks well. Blend Bunny do a good pink. I'm going to go back in with Marrow now and blend that edge, dipping a little more. Right, now I'm going to add a little bit of black to it. Yeah, just grab a new brush for that, I think. I'm going to get this stubby one. This one's really good for doing this sort of work. And just tap into the black, which is called Humid, by the way, because I really don't want it to overtake the lovely pink hues. And also I don't want it to be buffed out. I want it to actually be quite definite. See how that has already defined the eye, even me just lightly tapping. So let's sweep that now along the lash line. I'm going to go over it with another colour too. Oh yeah, that's really good. That's really good. Okay, so now I'm going to go into a navy shade called Mildew. Oh my gosh, one of my most hated things in the world is mildew. I hate the smell. And yet I bought the palette that's called Mildew. Now, is this the best navy? No. I did have very high expectations. And that's why I decided to put the black down first, because I did want that depth. And I find this navy a little bit patchy. So that's why I think it needs the black to boost it. I understand why they might not have made it too punchy, because most makeup users, you know, are not wanting incredibly graphic looks all the time. But given that this is a palette that I think is marketed and aimed at and certainly developed by a makeup artist, I find that a little curious. I'm just going to dab back into Stain now, which is that bright pink, and just build that up a little bit more, soften that line there. I really do love that colour. Now, in the plastic palette, I have an even brighter pink than this one. Going back into Whisper now, that mauve. And then back into Agrimonium. I hope I'm saying these right. It's all got something to do with like fungus. Okay, all right. In the inner corner, do I want to use white again? I've already used white, haven't I? Let's do something really unexpected. Let's use this color called Damp. Isn't that bright? It's really bright. Just wipe my 02 off there. It's only had the white on it. Very bright, isn't it? Okay, pull my eyelid out a little bit. See a little bit of fallout there. If you'd seen me working with these shadows on the first day, I'm sitting here and I'm pondering, what am I doing? What have I done? Questioning my choices in life. Now, am I now resolved with this palette? Not entirely, I have to say. Is it the best palette I've ever used? No. Is it even the best matte formula I've ever used? Also no. But I say that with some hesitation because it is only early days. It may well improve over time. Just like we do. Okay, so that's pretty much the look I wanted. All right, let's see how many colors I've used so far. I have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 out of, is this a 20 pan? Yes, a 20 pan palette. 13 shades out of 20. Will I probably ever use that on myself? No. I don't like greys. I used to love greys. You know what? I'm going to challenge myself to do a grey look one time and see what you think about it, because you might say, hey, you should be using greys. I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to put some mascara on and come back and sign off. Okay, finished look. Here we are. All matte. All matte. All right. Probably didn't even need mascara on that eye because of that navy mixed with the black. So yeah, there is that. Right. I was saying it's not the best matte formula I have ever used. So what is? There are two in the indie world, makeup world. The best matte formula I have ever found, well, in fact, the best eyeshadow formula I've ever found was from BH Cosmetics. They are no longer available. They have been gone for nearly 5 years now. I still am sad about it, as you can tell. But Cosmic Beauty out of the UK have almost filled that sadness and removed that sadness from my makeup loving heart. And their matte formula is, and also their shimmer formula is incredible as well, all of their shimmer formulas. Now, in the mainstream makeup world, the best mattes I have in my collection are from Natasha Denona. Very expensive, but excellent quality. And yeah, some of them are on sale at Sephora at the moment if you're wanting a purple palette. The Roxa palette's half price. So that might be of interest to you. Right, there's lots of mattes in there, and she does, her matte heavy palettes are amazing. They are amazing, and I use them so much. So much. Right, so this is the Rotten palette. Back to what I've done today. Blend Bunny and Mei Pang. I have to tell you, if you are icky about the cover art, so was I. It is even furry. Just saying that, letting you know, I have gotten over it. I have, at first when I opened it, I went, oh, I'm going to have to cover that up. I'm going to have to put something over it. I won't be able to handle it. I actually am finding it fine now. So yes, desensitization, period, over with. These colors are great. The color story is a little challenging, I have to say. An all matte palette. I feel like the first couple of times I used it, I had to keep reaching for a shimmer shadow. Like I reached into my Rare Beauty shadow stick to put over the top in this sort of champagne-y color, just to give it some life. But I'm actually now realizing that I do like an all matte look a lot more than I thought I did at first. Still saying though that it's not perfect, and it's not a cheap palette. So if you are creative, using mattes a lot, or you love mattes, if you have oily lids and you still want lots of color, but you're sick of buying or getting rainbow color stories thrown at you, then this is the sort of colour story that might appeal to you. Lots of cool tones, lots of grunginess, pops of pastel, and even a hint of, you know, neon, but not crazy. So there are some really wearable colours here, and liner shades like the navy, the black, and the orange for me. All right, that's that palette. I do have another one to review with you that is also a blend bunny. So I'm going to go and do something else now because this is my day off. And I will talk to you again soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.